Ukrainian War, NATO promises to deliver more weapons, repair power grids. NATO has pledged to supply Ukraine with more weapons and help repair critical energy infrastructure badly damaged by Russia's massive missile and drone strikes. At a summit in Bucharest, Military Alliance Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg accused Moscow of wanting to use winter as a weapon of war. The Russian strike left millions of Ukrainians in sub-zero conditions with no electricity or running water. Ukraine has been asking NATO for a more advanced air defense system for months. Under the Geneva Conventions, attacks on civilians or their critical infrastructure can be interpreted as war crimes. Earlier this week, Ukraine's Attorney General told the BBC that the Russian attack amounted to genocide. At a conference in Berlin, the justice ministers of the G7 group of wealthy countries said they would coordinate an investigation into alleged war crimes in Ukraine. The judicial investigation into atrocities in Ukraine will take years, even decades, but we are well prepared and will hold out as long as we can, said Federal Justice Minister Marco Bushman. Russian President Vladimir Putin and other Kremlin officials who ordered a full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24 deny allegations that Russian forces have committed war crimes. In another development, Ukrainian First Lady Olena Zelenska told the British Parliament in London on Tuesday that Ukrainians were experiencing fears similar to Britain during World War II, when Nazi Germany bombed the city. "We need justice, not just victory," Zelenska said, adding, "I came to you for justice because it will lead to the end of this war." At the outset of a two-day NATO foreign ministers meeting in the Romanian capital, Stoltenberg said, "Russia is indeed failing on the battlefield. In response, they are now attacking civilian targets, cities, because they cannot acquire territory." His words were echoed by Foreign Minister James Cleverly, who said Russia aimed to subdue the Ukrainians. Late Tuesday, NATO issued a statement saying Russia's ongoing attacks on Ukraine's civilian and energy grids are depriving millions of basic human services. NATO members will help Ukraine repair its energy infrastructure and protect its people from missile attacks, the statement added. At a joint press conference with Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, Stoltenberg said, "We stand by Ukraine and will not back down. We recognize that it is very important that Putin does not win in Ukraine. This would be a tragedy for Ukraine, but it would also make the world more dangerous and more vulnerable." Kuleba, meanwhile, said his last three words when meeting senior NATO officials were, "Guns, guns, guns." Today I have three other words from him that are faster, faster, faster. We are grateful for what we have achieved so far, but the war continues. Decisions on weapons and production lines need to be made more quickly, Kuleba added. Estonian Foreign Minister Urmas Reinsalu later told the BBC World Service's NewsHour program that NATO needed to supply Ukraine with missiles capable of hitting Russian territory. The most logical way to help them is to allow them to effectively reach where the missiles will be launched. We have to consider all options. There should be no lines or reservations. The US-led NATO alliance has repeatedly ruled out deliveries of long-range missiles and other similar weapons to Ukraine amid concerns it could lead to a large-scale escalation with a nuclear-armed Russia. In Ukraine, energy workers across the country face the daunting task of restoring electricity and water supplies to millions of people while warning that Russia may be preparing a new wave of missile attacks. Continues. Ukrenergo, the country's electricity supplier, said on Tuesday that his 30% of the country's electricity demand is currently unmet and that power rationing will continue. Winter has started in Ukraine, with snow and freezing temperatures continuing in many areas. There are concerns that people across the country could die from hypothermia,